Hello, beautiful souls. Disclaimer. This video is intended solely for educational and motivational purposes. While it draws inspiration from Buddhist teachings, it does not claim to offer original Buddhist teachings or interpretations. The content is designed to inspire and educate viewers and should not be considered as a definitive source of Buddhist doctrine or practice. Please consult with a qualified teacher or scholar for authentic Buddhist teachings. Being mentally strong is really important. It's like a hidden superpower that helps you keep going in life. Even when things are tough, being mentally strong helps you handle problems, stick to your goals, and face difficulties with determination. This video talks about the main ideas in Buddhism and how they connect to 10 habits that can make your mind weaker. If we learn and use these teachings, we can start to make our minds stronger and better able to handle tough times. The first habit is always thinking negatively. Thinking negatively is like a big cloud that blocks the bright sun of our happiness. It's a habit that makes us mentally weaker because it makes everything in our life seem sad and hopeless. When we only focus on the bad things, we miss all the good things happening around us. It's like wearing sunglasses all the time. Everything looks dark, even the beautiful moments. If we're always thinking negatively, we start to believe that everything is bad and that we can't be successful or happy. This way of thinking can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, affecting our actions and choices. We might become scared to take risks or try new things because we've convinced ourselves they won't work. To beat a negative mindset, we can use the teachings of Buddhism. One important idea is mindfulness, which means noticing our thoughts without judging them. Instead of letting negative thoughts control us, we can recognize them and then choose to focus on the positive. Clearing the clouds to let the sun shine is like practicing metta or loving kindness meditation in Buddhism. This practice involves sending warm and positive thoughts to ourselves and others. By doing this regularly, we can slowly change our mindset from negative to positive. Buddhism teaches that everything changes. Good times and bad times will come and go. Knowing this, we can face challenges with a stronger mindset, knowing that difficulties are not forever. By following these Buddhist teachings, we can free ourselves from negativity and develop a positive and strong mind. The second habit is complaining about things we can't control. Complaining about things we can't control is like holding a hot coal. It only hurts us. This habit weakens our mind because it makes us focus on the problem rather than finding solutions. It's like getting stuck in quicksand. The more we complain, the deeper we sink into negativity. Buddhism teaches that everything is always changing. Complaining makes us believe that things will never improve, trapping us in unhappiness. Instead of seeing challenges as temporary, we make them seem like permanent problems. To stop complaining, we can practice acceptance. This means understanding that life has ups and downs, and we can't control everything. Acceptance is like learning to dance in the rain instead of complaining about the storm. By accepting what we can't change, we free ourselves from the burden of constant complaint. Buddhism also encourages us to focus our energy on things we can control. It's like steering a boat in a storm. We may not control the weather, but we can navigate our boat by taking action where we have power. We move from a passive complaining mode to an active problem-solving mindset. In the teachings of Buddhism, letting go is another powerful practice. It's like releasing a balloon. We feel lighter when we let go of unnecessary burdens. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the tight grip on complaints and allowing space for positive change. By incorporating these Buddhist principles into our lives, we learn to approach challenges with a balanced mind, accepting the impermanence of situations, and focusing our efforts where we can make a difference. In doing so, we liberate ourselves from the grip of complaints and cultivate a mental strength that propels us forward even in the face of adversity. The third habit is not expressing yourself. Not expressing yourself is like having a treasure chest but keeping it locked away. This habit weakens our minds because it stops us from sharing our thoughts, feelings, and ideas with the world. It's like trying to navigate a dark room without turning on the light. Things get confusing and overwhelming. The teachings of Buddhism guide us to understand why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can break free from its constraints. In Buddhism, expressing oneself authentically is considered essential for building a strong foundation for mental well-being. When we hold back our thoughts and emotions, we weaken our minds. But by expressing ourselves, we can strengthen our minds and improve our mental well-being. Keeping your feelings inside is like shaking a soda bottle. The pressure builds up and might eventually burst out as stress, anxiety, or feeling overwhelmed. Buddhism teaches us to speak truthfully, kindly, and mindfully. It's like planting seeds of positivity. When we speak, our words can grow into a garden of understanding and connection. To stop keeping things to ourselves, we can use mindfulness. Mindfulness is like a mirror. It shows us our thoughts and helps us become aware of our feelings. Expressing ourselves isn't just about words. It can also involve non-verbal communication, like body language and gestures. These silent expressions are like a secret language, showing our feelings and thoughts even when we don't say a word. By being aware of our non-verbal communication, we can express ourselves better. By using these Buddhist teachings, we learn that expressing ourselves not only frees us, but also helps those around us. It's like opening a window to let fresh air in. Expressing ourselves lets the light of understanding and connection brighten our minds. By stopping keeping things to ourselves, we start a journey towards being genuine, building a strong and confident mind. The fourth habit is blaming others for our problems. Blaming others for our problems is like trying to run a race with a backpack full of rocks. It weighs us down and slows us down. This habit weakens our minds because it takes away our power. It's like giving someone else the steering wheel of our life. Buddhism teaches us why this habit makes us weak and how we can stop blaming others. In Buddhism, the concept of karma teaches us that our actions have results. Blaming others is like ignoring this law, refusing to recognize that we play a role in our own lives. When we blame, we become like spectators rather than active participants in our life. Taking personal responsibility is about understanding that we can shape our experiences. It's like being the captain of our ship. We may face storms, but we can navigate through them. When we blame others, it's like saying we have no control, but in reality, we do. By embracing the idea that our actions matter, we empower ourselves to make positive choices. To stop blaming, forgiveness plays a crucial role. Forgiveness is not about saying what others did is okay. It's about releasing ourselves from the burden of resentment. It's like setting down a heavy backpack. We feel lighter and freer. Forgiving others and ourselves is a powerful step towards reclaiming our personal responsibility. Mindfulness, a key practice in Buddhism, helps us become aware of our thoughts and actions. It's like shining a light on a dark path. We can see where we're going. By being mindful, we can catch ourselves when we're tempted to blame and choose a more empowering response. This shift from blame to responsibility is like trading the rocks in our backpack for wings that help us soar. By using these Buddhist teachings, we invite ourselves to step into our power and take charge of our journey. Breaking free from blaming others is not just about holding others accountable. It's about recognizing our power and ability to shape a positive and resilient mindset by steering clear of blame. The fifth habit is daydreaming instead of planning. Daydreaming instead of planning is like building castles in the sky. They might look beautiful, but they don't have a solid base. This habit weakens our minds because it disconnects us from the reality of the present moment. It's like chasing illusions in a desert. We may never reach what we're longing for. Buddhism teaches us why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can shift from daydreaming to planning for a more grounded and positive mindset. Daydreams often involve unrealistic scenarios and wishful thinking. It's like expecting a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, a beautiful idea but not based in reality. When we get lost in daydreams, it's like daydreaming while missing out on the beauty of the present moment. This habit weakens us because it can lead to disappointment when reality doesn't align with our imagined scenarios. Planning, on the other hand, involves creating mental images of achievable goals. It's like having a treasure map. We can chart a course to reach our goals. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of right intention and right action, which align with planning positive outcomes and taking practical steps toward realizing them. By grounding our goals in reality, we bridge the gap between dreams and achievable goals. Buddhism teaches us that change is a constant. Daydreams often involve clinging to a fixed idea of the future, while planning adapts to the ever-changing landscape of life. It's like riding a wave, instead of trying to hold on to the shore. We move with the flow of life. By acknowledging that everything changes, we develop a more flexible and resilient mindset. To overcome the habit of daydreaming, mindfulness becomes a valuable tool. It's like putting on glasses that help us see the present clearly. We become aware of our thoughts and gently guide them towards positive and realistic planning. Mindfulness allows us to appreciate the beauty of the present moment while actively working towards our goals. Incorporating these teachings into our lives encourages us to shift from daydreaming to planning, fostering a more positive and grounded mindset. By embracing the principles of change, right intention, and mindfulness, we break free from the habit of building castles in the air. Planning becomes a powerful ally, helping us create positive realities and navigate the journey of life with purpose and resilience. The sixth habit is letting your emotions control you. Letting emotions control us is like being swept away by a strong river current. We lose control and direction. This habit weakens our minds because unmanaged emotions can become overwhelming and lead us astray. It's like being in a storm without a compass. We might get lost in the turbulence. Buddhism teaches us why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can develop emotional intelligence to navigate the currents of our feelings. In Buddhism, mindfulness is a powerful practice that encourages us to observe our emotions without getting swept away by them. It's like standing on the riverbank and watching the water flow. We can witness our emotions without being pulled under. When we let our emotions control us, it's like being caught in a storm without an anchor. We get tossed around and it becomes challenging to find our way. The concept of emotional intelligence involves recognizing, understanding, and managing our own emotions, as well as empathizing with the emotions of others. It's like having a compass in the storm. It helps us navigate through challenges and maintain a steady course. And when we let our emotions control us, it's like handing over the steering wheel to a turbulent force, risking getting lost in the chaos. To overcome the habit of letting emotions control us, mindfulness becomes a valuable ally. Mindfulness is like a sturdy boat. It helps us navigate through the waves without capsizing. By being present in the moment and observing our emotions with curiosity and non-judgment, we gain the ability to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. Buddhism encourages us to cultivate a balanced mind through practices like loving-kindness meditation. It's like planting seeds of compassion in our hearts. These seeds grow into a garden that allows us to respond to emotions with kindness, both towards ourselves and others. By embracing emotional intelligence, we develop a skill set that empowers us to understand, navigate, and learn from our emotions. Incorporating these teachings into our lives helps us break free from the habit of letting emotions rule us. Instead of being at the mercy of emotional storms, we become captains of our emotional ships, steering with mindfulness and compassion. By cultivating emotional intelligence, we navigate the seas of feelings with resilience, maintaining a steady course towards mental strength and well-being. The seventh habit is not making time for personal relationships. Ignoring personal relationships is like having a garden but forgetting to water the plants. Over time, everything dries up. This habit weakens our minds because humans are social beings, and meaningful connections bring joy and support. It's like trying to sail a boat without wind. We might move, but it's a slow and lonely journey. Buddhism teaches us why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can cultivate stronger connections through the gift of time. Ignoring personal connections is like closing the door to a warm and welcoming home. We miss out on the comfort and support that relationships can provide. When we don't make time for our loved ones, it's like neglecting a garden. The weeds of misunderstanding and distance start to grow. This habit weakens our minds because we may feel isolated without the nourishment of love and companionship. Building and maintaining relationships require time and effort, much like tending to a garden to make it flourish. To overcome the habit of ignoring personal relationships, we can start by being present. Being present is like sunshine for relationships. It helps them thrive. When we spend quality time with our loved ones, it's like watering the plants in a garden. It nurtures the bonds and strengthens the relationships. The eighth habit is about wanting to have control over everything. It's like trying to keep too many balls in the air at once. It's tiring, and we might end up dropping everything. This habit weakens us because it leads to frustration and disappointment. It's like trying to catch the wind, which is impossible and frustrating. Buddhism teaches us why this habit is harmful and how we can gain strength by letting go of control. In Buddhism, the concept of non-attachment helps us let go of the illusion of control. It's like understanding that we can't hold on to the clouds. They are always changing. When we try to control everything, it's like trying to hold on to water. It just slips through our fingers, leaving us feeling powerless. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding what we can and can't influence. It's like planting seeds in a garden. We take care of them, but we can't control the weather. The weather might bring rain or sunshine, but our job is to take care of the garden. When we accept that some things are out of our control, we free ourselves from constant struggle. It's like unclenching a tight fist. To overcome the habit of trying to control everything, mindfulness becomes our ally. Mindfulness is like a steady anchor. It keeps us grounded in the present moment. By focusing on what we can influence and letting go of the rest, we navigate uncertainty with grace and resilience. Buddhism encourages us to understand that letting go of control leads to true power. It's like realizing that by loosening our grip, we gain the strength to face life's challenges. When we let go of the need to control, it's like opening our hands to receive what life has to offer, rather than clinging to our preconceived ideas. Incorporating these teachings into our lives invites us to let go of the burden of trying to control everything. By letting go of the illusion of control, we find power. Like a sail catching the wind, propelling us forward with a sense of freedom. Breaking free from a habit of micromanaging every aspect of life, we discover the strength that comes from going with the flow of life. The ninth habit is about dwelling on the past. Dwelling on the past is like carrying a heavy backpack full of old stuff. It slows us down and makes the journey harder. This habit weakens us because it keeps us stuck in what's already happened, preventing us from fully enjoying the present or looking forward to the future. It's like trying to drive a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. We're likely to miss what's ahead. Buddhism teaches us why dwelling on the past is harmful and how we can break free from these chains. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness teaches us to be present in the here and now. It's like opening the windows to let in fresh air, clearing out the stuffiness of dwelling on the past. When we dwell on what's behind us, it's like trying to walk backward. We might stumble and lose our way. By letting go of the past, we create space for new experiences and opportunities. Dwelling on the past also ties us to old wounds and grievances. It's like keeping a wound covered in a bandage long after it is healed, hindering us from fully embracing life. Buddhism encourages us to practice forgiveness, not just for others, but also for ourselves. Forgiveness is like opening the door to release the past. It allows us to step into the present unburdened. The teachings of impermanence in Buddhism remind us that everything changes. It's like watching a river flow. The water never stays the same. When we cling to the past, it's like trying to freeze the river. It becomes stagnant and loses its vitality. By acknowledging the impermanence of all things, we free ourselves from the chains that bind us to past experiences. To overcome the habit, being kind to ourselves when we think about the past is important. It's like saying something nice to a friend who needs it, and we deserve the same kindness. By being kind and understanding to ourselves, we can move on from feelings of regret and guilt. The past becomes a lesson instead of a prison. Using these teachings in our lives helps us to let go of the past. By being mindful, forgiving, and kind to ourselves, we create a path towards freedom. Letting go of the habit of thinking too much about the past allows us to live in the present, ready to experience life as it happens. The 10th habit is about being too concerned with what others think and do. It's like carrying a heavy bag filled with other people's thoughts. This stops us from being ourselves. This habit makes us weak because it ties our self-worth to what others think. It's like a boat that's tossed around by every wave. Buddhism teaches us why this habit is not good and how we can stop judging ourselves all the time. In Buddhism, the idea of balance helps us to stay steady even when people praise or criticize us. It's like standing on solid ground while the wind blows around us. When we worry too much about what others say, it's like building our house on shaky ground. It can be easily damaged by any storm. But if we find balance, we can stay strong even when others judge us. Judging ourselves based on others' opinions is like letting someone else hold the mirror. We see ourselves through their eyes, not our own. Buddhism teaches us to accept ourselves and be authentic. It's like wearing our favorite clothes instead of trying to fit into someone else's wardrobe. We can be ourselves. By not always seeking approval and not limiting ourselves by others' expectations, we can be mindful. Mindfulness is a big part of Buddhism. It helps us become aware of our thoughts and reactions. When we worry about what others say, it's like being lost in a maze of opinions. Mindfulness is like a light that helps us find our way back to ourselves. By being present in the moment, we can observe these worries without getting caught up in them. To stop worrying about others' opinions, we need to love ourselves. It's like planting seeds of kindness within ourselves. These seeds grow into a garden of self-acceptance. By recognizing our worth and embracing our unique qualities, we can protect ourselves from the judgments of others. Incorporating these teachings into our lives frees us from the mental weakness tied to worrying about what others say and do. By finding balance, embracing authenticity, and cultivating self-love, we break free from the chains that bind us to external opinions. Breaking that habit of constant judgment allows us to navigate our own course, steering towards a life guided by inner strength and authenticity. The teachings of Buddhism provide a comprehensive guide to overcoming habits that make us mentally weak. By weaving mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom into the fabric of our daily lives, we can overcome negative patterns and cultivate enduring mental strength. This exploration serves as an invitation to embark on a transformative journey, integrating the profound teachings of Buddhism into the tapestry of our existence. May the insights from these teachings light the way to a strong and confident mind, sparking a life rich with intention, empathy, and happiness.